Okay, hi guys, and welcome to my second attempt at how to win a low stakes 9-handed this time sit and go. As you can see, we've just started. There's been one hand. It was, I think I had what did I have, Jack 8 suited, so we're actually still in the very first hand. Everybody starts with 1500. We've got $2.37 for third, $3.56 for second, $5.95 for first. So we're playing very low stakes, just to give us an idea of how to win if possible. Obviously always the first target, let's get paid, and then we'll think about winning it. But it's always worth having one eye on winning it as we go along, because of course just limping into the money isn't the objective. Winning's the objective, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities for us to steal chips, which is going to put us into a great position should we get heads up. So here we are. Like I say, if anybody saw my first video, we went out with, I had a pocket pair of fives, got the 5 on the flop, let the guy catch up stupidly, and he made it straight. He had something like Queen 9, I think, and it came 10 Jack King, something like that from memory. So I'd raised pre-flop, not quite sure exactly what he was doing calling, but there you go. That's all part and parcel of the variance. You just have to accept that, and hopefully, you know, much like life, if you know, a little run of bad luck hopefully turns and you get a little bit of good luck as well sometimes in running, which you do need. As I said in that first video, I'm certainly not a WSOP bracelet winner, anything like that, not a poker pro, just an average Joe who loves his poker. I think I have a winning strategy in these low stakes games, particularly these 9-handed sit and goes. So we're about to find out if that's true or not. Certainly can't guarantee that anybody will win following this strategy, but if you watch through my videos, take the best bits and incorporate them into your own game, hopefully you'll see an improvement. Poker's very, very difficult to beat, of course, everybody knows that, but with the right decision making it can be done. You've got the variance to beat, of course. You need great bankroll management. Make sure you stay off tilt. As long as you accept that you are going to get some funny cards coming out from time to time. Sometimes they come for you, sometimes they go against you, and that's just all part and parcel of it. Ideally you build up a big enough stack so that you can ride with that sort of thing. But the important thing is don't let a bad result send you on to tilt. Obviously there's a lot that I won't have time to discuss in this particular video, but I will touch on certain elements as we go through, and when I do future videos, then I'll be going into more detail. So anyway, please be sure to subscribe, like and share. I'd be very grateful if you did that. Obviously it helps my channel enormously, and I'm sure that some of you would like to comment. There'll be criticisms, maybe some advice, which I'm open to. Who knows, somebody even might say well done if we do go on and win it, but we'll see. So please feel free to comment below. Above all, please smash the heck out of that subscribe button. Okay, so we've got ace 3. This is absolute junk in my opinion at this stage of the tournament. We're getting well into the game now, but we're still on the very first level, I think, still. There's no point going crazy. I mean, what have we got? If it comes a 5, blimey, we'd have the very, very wrong end of the straight. It's not a hand to be getting involved with, and certainly at these early stages we're looking very much to pretty much fold everything other than your absolute premiums. You know, if you get pocket aces, pocket kings, obviously you're playing them. Ace king, queens, you know, as I said in my first video, queens, you know, in the early stages of a sit and go, you know, what can you do? You know, in this case, look, there's 81, there was 81, we've had a limper, so there's 111 in the pot. You know, if I'm sitting here with a pair of queens, if it gets folded round, let's say, it comes back to me, maybe there might be one or two callers, I put in a great big raise, everybody folds, great, you know, I've won a couple of 100 chips. If I do that with queens and the guy, one of the guys behind me is sitting there with ace king or aces or kings, or, you know, and obviously I'm behind well, with kings or aces, obviously I'm behind, I'm flipping against somebody with ace king. He might have a pair of tens, pair of fives, you name it, but obviously those hands can improve. So what's the point of going skint at the early stage? That's my view. So what you'll find is that my strategy, certainly in the very early stages, sit tight. The other great side effect of that as well, by the way, is if any of these guys are watching and they're paying attention, what they'll see is me fold, 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 and they'll think, blimey, he's an absolute rock. He goes by the name of Rocky, some boxing nickname really that, but you know, they'll think, crikey, this guy is an absolute rock, and we'll be able to take liberties with him as the game wears on. When in actual fact, what I'm doing is setting them up for that. You know, I'm quite happy for them to think, well, it is an interesting hand, by the way. 531 in the pot beforehand. It's come 9-4 jack, rainbow. We've had, I didn't see if this guy bet initially, but they've put plenty of money in and folded. They've called and folded. They've called. Let's see if what they're about to do. I mean, that's a funny. If you're prepared to put 206 fold and fold, and they've come up with King Jack, you know, all right, brilliant. You know, they've got lucky. They've hit their jacks, and they've both got a you know, second kicker. But would you really be wanting to stake your tournament life on that? You know, you might be up against, who knows, a little set of nines or something. Who knows? You're just far better off, in my opinion, you're better off just getting out of the way. You know, you've got junk like I've got there, king 8. Oh great, you know, I've got a pair of kings, but you know, what do I care about that? 141 in the pot. All that's really going to happen here is that in the long run, in the course of, you know, over the course of time, the balance of probabilities, look, see, you know, anybody sitting there with an ace, we've been outdrawn. Let's just hang on to our chips for the time being, set up an image of being really tight so that later on we can exploit people's assumptions. We can get far more aggressive and loosen right up as the blinds start to take effect, the blinds relative to the people's stacks. We also want to be making a note as we go round of the calling stations, the limpers, people who again later on we can obviously here 7 jack, that's no use to us, so we're folding that. Again, people that, you know, if we keep an eye on them, when they start limping and calling and, you know, doing fairly passive moves later on, we can start coming really aggressive and pinch all that dead money in the middle. So that's how I approach the game. Like I say, I'm certainly not an expert. I don't claim to be a great player, but I do think it's a winning strategy. And as the game unfolds, we'll go into talking about loosening up, like I say, when the blinds get a little bit more a little bit higher in relation to people's stacks, perhaps exploiting people's fear of the bubble, that sort of thing. So here we go. We're quite happy in these opening exchanges, just to keep folding, fold. You'll see probably for the first 20 minutes or so, unless I get an absolute premium, I'm quite happy to fold that junk. Queen full, look at that, top pair, third kicker. Well, you know, absolute garbage, and we're quite happy. We're glad that we folded that. Like I say, let's play very, very tight for the opening couple of rounds. So one thing's for sure, you can't win the tournament here, but you can certainly lose it. So there we go. Let's see what happens here. Okay, a bet of 240. This person we noticed before was quite happy to call. They've done it again and folded to a strong bet, so they seem to be interested in seeing cards and not necessarily believing in, you know, the value of them once the flop and turn and rivers come. So what have we got here? Caller, well, limper, a limper and a limper and another. Obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in this pot. Can only have one winner, so that means 4 of them are just tossing the money away. And if it does go to showdown and we're able to see what cards they've got, we'll see what junk they're playing with. Again, this guy leads out. Oh, re-raised all in and called. He's got his straight. Now they both got the straight, fair enough. But you do wonder, or at least I wonder, what are people doing in a hand with Queen 3 and Ace 3? He's raised, he's called the raise. All that's happening is that people are just shipping chips, they're shipping equity, and they're going to pay for it. I mean, that being said, look at me, I'm down to 1400, and you know, I haven't played a hand. All I've done is pay for blinds and antes. But that's a funny raise there, because that's a min raise, and you've got callers again, and it's a pretty weird looking flop, a pretty weak looking flop. 7-4-5 rainbow. There we go, check. Let's see if this guy is betting 100 into an 804 pot. He was the first to raise. He's folded. He's called. This one, if he's consistent, he'll call. Mind you, he was first to really. He was the one that raised, made it 150 in the first place. It wasn't much of a raise, but there you go. Wonder what he could have been raising with. And that fella folds. So what can we have? Some much more experienced players than me will talk about ranges. I mean, if we start trying to put people on ranges, what do we think he's got? Over pair, something like that, maybe 8s, 9s, 10s, something. although he probably would have been more aggressive than that pre-flop. So I don't know, maybe he's got an ace-7, and so he calls. I wonder why he was calling, just don't know. Okay, well, I've been dealt some more rubbish, so quite happy to fold that again. Yeah, I was just going to start speculating on what this guy had to be calling all that pre and post flop action. We'll never know now, but now later on, two suited cards, you know, later on, as you know, once you get down to kind of 3 or 4 big blinds, maybe not 8 with 8-4 particularly, but certainly with some suited, certainly connecting cards, you're going to be wanting to play those far more aggressively than I want to be involved in right now. I just want to get all this nonsense out of the way. The blinds will be going up in a minute, with 3 minutes, to 61.20 with a 15 ante. That'll leave us with just shy of 12, so it's kind of like 11 big blinds. We don't want to be letting ourselves get too low, because, you know, obviously once you get down to less than 10 bigs, you know, the pressure starts coming on. But I'm never really too worried about that, because just one hand, you can double up, or, you know, even half as much again if you stack. We're only looking to get to about 4,500 to kind of virtually, not necessarily guarantee us the money, but it will virtually guarantee us getting into the money. We don't need to be getting too busy at this stage. Even, like I say, in 2 minutes time, big blind's going up to 120. You know, like I say, yeah, so we're down to about we'll have 11 big blinds in a couple of minutes, 10 or 11. With the antes going through us, they're probably the big blind, I should say, small blind, and paying the ante will probably be down to 10 blinds in a minute. We certainly can't get involved in this. He's folded, I'm folding, and anybody aware of the way that the game's played, if you're on the button and it's an unopened pot, I mean, some people feel obliged to bet there. That's not a bad thing to do. I'll be doing it in a minute if it comes round to me. Because, like I say, we're getting to the point now where we're looking at being at 10 blinds. We haven't had a single card, but that's fine. I'm not the slightest bit worried at this stage. I know that 1 or 2 hands won, and we're right back in it. And if not, you know, we could easily be chip leader with winning a couple of hands. So certainly no need to panic just yet. I mean, that's garbage. There's an argument here. King 3 offsuit. It's absolute rubbish, of course, a rubbish starting hand, but look, it's just 40 more into a 370 pot. I'm going to fold because I'm maintaining this super tight image. We'd have hit, but we certainly wouldn't be fancying ourselves here against an ace and a jack on the board. Plus there's 2 to a straight, flush I should say, sorry. Okay. All in and fold, fair enough. That's nice work there by that player. Now then, here we go. So now, I was saying just before, I mean, I probably would be looking at this stage, particularly in an unopened pot, to be betting these no matter what, any 2 cards. But now we've actually woken up with something. My standard raising is 3 times the big blind. I don't know what happened there with my mouse, but what I would normally do is 3 times the big blind, plus for every caller we'll okay, now we're obliged to c-bet here. Hopefully they've got ace rag, maybe ace 10, ace jack, something like that. So we'll bet half the pot and hopefully they'll fold. That's great. Oh, perfect timing, 1700 just as it's going up to 61.20. So it keeps us in the curve, doesn't it? It keeps us on and around the average stack. If we lose one, we'll still be roughly average. You'll lose one player, that is, not lose a pot. 315 in the pot to play with each hand, so let's get into the point where it's worth stealing. So this is where we might start opening up a little bit. Like I say, hopefully we've given the table the image that we're going to be very tight and we're only going to be playing with premium hands. This player here has gone from being quite a passive calling station to playing a little bit more aggressively, and I'm beginning to like the way that this one's playing. Deuce 7, happily fold that. Yeah, they've put a couple of decent bets out and won the pots on the back of it. Not got down to showdown, which is always nice. This fella's bet into a few pots. Okay, he's been called. Queen King 3 all in. A call. I'm guessing this guy will fold. Queen Ace v Jack Ace. Excellent. So that's good play there by that person. Aggressive. Obviously they've hit the cards. They've got the cards that they needed, but continue to bet them strongly. So well done. We're getting to the stage now again where in a couple of minutes blinds are going up to 81.60. We'll be down to 10 big blinds again. It's coming to the time when we need to, maybe make a raise, but I think I'm a bit loath to make a raise like this, and particularly out of position now. The next dealer's going to be sitting there. We're going to be a little bit early position to be making a mad raise. I mean, to me that's a reasonable raising hand. Just come round to me, so we'll go 3 big blinds, see if we can pinch this. Seems unlikely the way that people have been betting. I've been playing rather. Okay, we've got 1 call so far, hopefully 2 folders. Now we're looking to hit really. Okay, we couldn't have hit it any harder than that. Hopefully he's calling with ace rag. We'll go half the pot again, hopefully take it down. Pair of sevens. Oh, there we go, we've made our straight. Happy days. Okie dokes. Well, anybody who watched the first video will see that, well, I didn't play that hand in the first video particularly well. I let the guy catch up, and he didn't just catch up. He hit it straight, and then he went all in, and I called. I didn't believe him for his Queen 9. I think he held on a 10 Jack King board. I couldn't quite put him on a Queen 9 the way that the betting had gone, but nevertheless he had it. And okay, now my table image has just been burst, so I'm going to fold that. Ace 10. I'm sure that a lot of you are screaming, going, oh, all in, all in, all in. But there you go, Ace 10. I'm getting beat by Ace Jack. So I like to hang on to my chips at this stage. And we're third as things stand. 7-10, all that we're hoping for here is a walk. I don't think we're going to get it the way that the game's gone so far. A couple of limpers, okie dokes, gives me a free card, a free flop. It's done me no good, it's not going to anyway, is it, with the 7-10. I'll check and fold this quite happily. There we go, funny bet of 160 into 700, but there you go. We're down to the last 7 players now. In a few minutes the blinds are going up to 200, and that's when people start to feel the pressure, because there's not going to be too many rounds for some of these. At least we'll have a few big blinds to play with. Okay, there's a raise. I was hoping it was just going to get folded round to me, and I would have probably shoved and made him make a decision, but as it happens he's put the raise in. Min raise, nothing to be too particularly frightened of, but again we don't want to be throwing our money away, so I'll fold that. And we're on the button now. King Queen of diamonds. Again we're wanting this to be folded round to me, but it's not going to be. Okay, so we'll go 3 big blinds would be 480. We'll put another one in because we've got a caller, 640. Hopefully that'll be enough to take it down. Very nice, that takes us to 2900. Jack 7, insta fold. Okay, we're just inching towards that magical kind of 4,500 target that I'm looking for to get us into the money. After that, obviously, I mean, even now, I mean, all I'm really concerned about is I want to win this. But you know, it's always nice to make the money. You've got to get your money back, and you know, keep the bankroll rolling. So Jack 7, yeah, a load of rubbish. I've yet to be dealt a hand, you know, a playable hand, let's be honest. And those hands that I've played, I don't think have improved. Obviously, actually that's not true, because I made that straight, didn't I? Outdrew that previous fella, but that's just the nature of poker, isn't it? You know, you get cards, and I was in that hand because I had the up and down straight draw. So okay, now when my feeder folded, I was definitely going to make that move. 480, King Queen. I mean, what can he have? He's probably already got a made pair, or he'll have an ace something. So I feel as though we're already behind. So to me, that's a straightforward fold, particularly at this stage. He hasn't got lots behind. So, you know, even if I was to re-raise him, the chances are he would call, he would feel pot committed.